Hi, I'm Emily, and I'm the Castle Girl. Today, I'm at Hermitage Castle. Hermitage Castle was a hall house and tower house castle near Castletown, Hawick in the Scottish borders. The massive, eerie and oppressive ruin was once known as the guardhouse of the bloodiest valley in Britain. The earthworks around Hermitage Castle date back to around 1240, when Nicholas de Soulis, butler to the king, settled in the area. This was most likely a hunting lodge. De Soulis was widely hated, as he is said to have dabbled in witchcraft and child abduction and also plotted against Robert the Bruce. Legend has it that he believed he was indestructible due to a prophecy that meant he could never be bound by rope or steel. The locals at the time wrapped the Baron's body in bands and boiled him in a vat of molten lead. The de Soulis family lost Hermitage in 1320. During the Wars of Independence, Hermitage fell under English rule, but in 1338 it was besieged by Sir William Douglas, the Knight of Liddesdale, who was appointed by King David II. Sir William was murdered by his godson in 1353. William's successor was the Cumbrian Lord Dacre. He built the stone fortified manor in 1360. He inherited the land through marriage. The cobbled courtyard inside the building and the walls survive to this day, and they were accessed through the round arched doorway on the south wall. There is a spiral stairway that led to the upper floors, and this would have housed the family's residential apartments. The ground floors would have housed the cellars and storage rooms. In the cellars there are stones supporting the side walls to support the heavy floors above. You can see a shallow well remaining in one of the cellars today. The walls were built with high quality ashlar stone. Some of the stones have I or L carved on them, and this may have been the mark of the master mason John Lewin from Durham. Lord Dacre was ousted in 1371 by the Black Douglases. It was the third Earl of Douglas that built the huge rectangular tower we see today after taking possession in 1360, and this formidable structure, including the great corner towers, was probably completed around the early 1400s by George I, Earl of Angus. There was blind arches added to allow wooden fighting platforms to run the length of the outside of the tops of the walls. The castle was definitely built for war rather than for grandeur. There are very few windows below the wall tops, making the interior of Hermitage Castle a dark and gloomy place. In 1492, the 5th Earl of Angus was instructed by a suspicious James IV to exchange Hermitage for estates near Glasgow. These were held by the 1st Earl of Bothwell. This is how Hermitage became ownership of the Hepburns. Mary Queen of Scots rode to Hermitage from Jedburgh, 25 miles away, to visit the 4th Earl of Bothwell, James. This was after he was injured in a fight with border raiders. She rode with a small retinue to be by his side. Still married at the time to Lord Darnley, she could not be seen to stay at Hermitage with Bothwell, so after 2 hours she returned 25 miles to Jedburgh. En route back, her horse stumbled into a bog, and Mary contracted a fever from which she nearly died. Hermitage Castle fell into disuse in the 1600s. Its fate is a gloomy and romantic ruin spread through the 1800s. Sir Walter Scott had himself painted with Hermitage in the background. It was the 5th Duke of Buccleuch that repaired much of the exterior wall to survive until the castle was placed into the state care in 1930. The castle in daylight can appear relatively benign, but if you visit on a gloomy day with wind and rain whistling around the open walls, you can understand why visitors have reported witnessing unusual apparitions and experiences. The castle is now in the care of Historic Environment Scotland. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to visiting a castle near you. Bye!